I decided to go ahead and build the sump today. I had glass cut at the local hardware because plexiglass, acrylic, and Lexan polycarbonate was all too expensive. I priced a sheet at Menards and Home Depot, the sheet large enough to build these 5 baffles, and it would have cost $130. That's not happening. So I went to the hardware and got glass. He told me it was 1/8 inch, but it's not. It is 3/32, which is fine. There's no pressure on this glass. People like to think there's a ton of pressure. There is not. My water comes into this section, up over here, and under here. The usual thing. The whole thing, there's only, in this whole system, that will run at that level, drops down 1 inch, and that's it. That is the only pressure in the whole system, that 1 inch, which is almost nothing. So, and another thing, people freak out about sealing these baffles, and it's just not needed. If you have 400 gallons an hour flowing through this tank, what does it matter if there's a little leakage around any of the baffles except for one? This one right here. Because this is the pump return chamber. This baffle has to be sealed tight, because if it were to leak along the bottom and the return overflow system fail in the aquarium, or display tank as people like to call them these days, this whole thing would get pumped up to the top tank, which could be disastrous. So, as long as that baffle is sealed, it can only pump this chamber down from its running water level down. In my system, it could hold 8 times that much of a volume of water. So, it's real tempting to tidy up these silicone blobs. But it's only been about 1.5 hours since I glued the thing, and man, this silicone dries fast. Oh, another thing, these baffles, I had them cut narrow enough so that I had about a 3/16 inch gap on each side, and because of that, I was able to take the caulking gun, lay a nice good heavy bead, wipe it, give it a good wipe too, pushing the silicone through the glass to the other side. And I made a little stick so I could stick it down in the bubble traps so that I could use a stick and wipe upward. I had a washer glued to my little helping stick here. It broke off, and it was too big a radius anyway to get a nice wipe. So I just ended up using this on my stick. But I noticed that you don't even have to wipe, like on the inside of the bubble traps, or any of them for that matter. You don't even need to wipe it. By pushing that much silicone through, on the other side it beads up nicely. And yeah, beads up nicely. You wouldn't even have to wipe it. So, like I said though, wipe it. That baffle there, seal it good. That's the first baffle I installed in the tank. Gave it a good sealing, and I went ahead and put the others in. I just had little pieces of tape holding the tops of the baffles to the side, like everybody does. Works great, no problem. What surprised me was, within 1 hour I was able to take the tape off. And they're nice and strong. I'm not going to pull the spacers out until tomorrow, lest my baffles, the weight of them, ruin my job.